Welcome to the latest tasting video for Single Cask Nation. I remain Jason, he remains Joshua. This video is focusing on our Ben Nevis 10-year-old, 1/8 of our 13th US retail release. Ben Nevis, very fun distillery. I literally drove by their front door 6 weeks ago. Gave it a little nod, kept on driving past it with the family. A funky spirit, and one that we've had fun with in the time we have been Single Cask Nation. We've put out a few Ben Nevi, as you like to pluralize it, Joshua.
Indeed, I do.
This one is 10 years old with 4 years in first fill Spanish oak Oloroso Hogshead. And this speaks to something I've been mentioning in a lot of my retail tastings, which is when it comes to cask selection, we will look for full maturation first. We'll see what's on the list.
Yep.
And then we'll move to quote unquote extended finishing, something we like to call double maturation. And so right now we're sitting with, this was 6 years in its first cask. It was then 4 years in its second cask. That's giving life to the second cask. That's adding to the spirit. And then after that, we start to look at different lengths of finishing. But full maturation is a priority. Double maturation is point number 2 on the list. And we've hit that with this Ben Nevis.
Yeah, well said. Yeah,
thank you.
I like that. Right, extended maturation. Because it's not just finishing; it's adding on. It's extending the flavors, and that second cask brings so much to the table.
Right, it's playing with a full palette, and not just adding in 1 or 2 colors.
Man,
Go ahead.
Go
on.
Well, I think of Ben Nevis's spirit, right? Because Ben Nevis is one of the odd man out distilleries, or it was until 2018. 2018, they sort of switched their production or their fermentation style from using a brewer's yeast to using distiller's yeast, right? And this is pre-2018. So this is the brewer's yeast, which made for a funkier, earthier style of spirit, right? And I often compare Ben Nevis to like they are the wild turkey of Scotch whiskey distilleries, right? You're going to get that Ben Nevis funk going on, right? Yep. So you've got that funk going on in there, but then you've got that Oloroso sherry that kind of rounds it out and brings in like this chocolate note, this nuttiness, this almost like pistachio ice cream with like that, like pistachio ice cream, by the way, is my favorite ice cream, with like chocolate syrup over it.
Never thought about adding chocolate syrup to pistachio
dude,
ice cream.
You haven't lived.
For me, sitting there on the nose is that podding soil in a greenhouse. And that's that earthiness that you're talking about belonging in the Ben Nevis spirit. As you rightly point out, this is summer 2014 distillation happening here. So predating the move, still having the brewer's yeast in here that I love. I love the weight of that, and I love that heavy earthiness. Sometimes we've talked about Ben Nevis having a dankness, an engaging dankness. I'm not necessarily getting this to be dank, but it is podding soil in a greenhouse. One of the things that we had found, and this is sometimes part of the transition from having a cask sample to having a finished bottled product, the cask sample had a little bit of screeching tires to it. Like there was some kind of note that was bringing you some smoke, but it was kind of a little more acrid, maybe a little tighter. As you and I have opened up, the newly delivered bottles here, screeching tires isn't in there. No. And sometimes when you pull from cask and you go into bottle, sometimes the spirit has a chance to relax a little bit. I think you and I were discussing this before we hit record. Sometimes I think the oxygen, the first thing the oxygen takes care of are those funky notes,
For
and you
sure.
get a pull back from the funky. So for me, the funky was the podding soil in the
Yep.
greenhouse. That remains. The
Yep.
screeching tires was there. That's gone a little bit. I do wonder if one was to sit with this, if echoes of smoke would start to appear around the edges.
Potentially, but I think your point's a really good one. I mean, for our wine people out there, think about what an aerator does to your red wine. It
Mm.
absolutely changes it. If you use an aerator and you put your red wine through that, it changes the nose, it changes the palate in remarkable ways. So I love what you said about that. You tip the cask and then it goes through the bottling system. It goes through those lines. You have air
Right.
processing that whole system.
Mm.
It'll be interesting to see, right, as we go through this bottle. And I think about that with any bottle we have. What is the oxygen doing to the liquid all along the way? And your liquid is always evolving. So will they
Mm.
come back? In a way, I'm kind of missing the screeching tires. Um, but here we are.
But I also think Ben Nevis will do that in any
Yeah,
experiences. It'll come and go. It'll
yeah.
peak. It'll dip. It does a range of different things. I'm really intrigued by this palette where I'm getting something kind of spicy, maybe
Mm,
from a spice cupboard, maybe like a freshly ground nutmeg kind of thing.
mhm.
But then there's a chocolate ice cream happening, which is, you're getting that continued weight of chocolate, but there's spice. My lips, like I get a little
Mm,
puckering, a little
mhm,
drying on the gums here.
mhm.
That cask is an active cask here,
Yeah.
really drawing this experience to a very precise focal point. But then it's luscious to the back. It's juicy to the back, like a warm fruit compote running down the middle
Yeah.
of the palate.
Yeah. I know early on we said warm fruit compote, but I'm also thinking like a mixed berry jam over toasted
Mhm,
bread,
mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm. I get toast and a whole wheat toast so often. I
Mm,
try not to say it and write it everywhere, but
yeah.
I'm glad you said it
Yeah.
because
Right.
I
Because
absolutely get it.
the malt is there, right? So it's hard to.
Mm.
And I like that, right? That which means the casks aren't completely taken over, despite this being 4 years
Right,
in
right.
right, what is
Spanish
this?
oak.
Spanish
Spanish
oak
oak
or
specifically.
Spanish oak really can
Right,
overtake. So despite this
right.
being 4 years in Spanish oak, the spirit character is still there. The malt is still there. So the
Yeah.
toast, that right?
Y
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. You know when people talk to us about when do you know the right time to pull it from cask, and do you pull it when it's the best?
Yeah.
And we always say, like, maturation's non-linear. There's multiple best points along the way. It's
Mhm,
it's what do
mhm.
you like in any particular moment? Given what you're saying, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, at 4 years in the Spanish oak Oloroso, I would not have taken this cast to 6 years, right? I think
No.
4 to 6 is right in that wheelhouse before it becomes too dry, before it becomes too tannic, before the oak does take over. Right now, you've got the oak
Mm,
supporting the spirit. Ben Nevis is present in here,
mhm.
so is the Spanish oak Oloroso, and it's chocolatey, and I'm still getting dark fruits in here.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know Raisins and dates are happening in here,
Mm.
but then it's got that kind of creaminess from the chocolate ice cream. For you, it's chocolate sauce over the top of pistachio ice cream. There's a lot of different things happening in this 10-year-old Ben Nevis.
It's really
Mm.
expressive. I'm gonna bring up the bottle here. I know you're the man behind the banners, but before you pop up a
Yeah,
banner,
yeah, there's the
I just
bottle.
wanna pop up right there's the bottle there,
Very pretty.
right? Just gorgeous, gorgeous livery there. There you
Look at
go.
that.
There's our bottle.
All right, here comes
That
your banner.
Go ahead. All right. So we've got Ben Nevis, 10 years old, Spanish oak, Spanish oak, Oloroso Hogshead finish, 4 years, or like you had said, right? Extra
Right.
maturation.
Double maturation.
Double maturation. Only 240 bottles out of this cask, and 61.6.
We didn't even mention the strength while we were tasting this together.
And it gets back to what we've said for, what is this? What year is this? 2025?
14. Yeah, 14.
For 14 years, what is the one thing that we can hang our hats on from a cask selection standpoint?
Well
Texture. We are
priced.
texture gods.
And well-priced drinkers.
And well-priced drinkers. But from, well, yes, $100, $10 per year, blah, blah, blah. I'm focused on the ABV, right? 61.6% alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's not attacking your mouth, right?
No.
It's not lighting your tongue on fire. It's big, rich, unctuous spirit.
No, that really holds its own. And I will say, you know, as the reminder we make for retail release 13, only available in retail stores. You absolutely, we're hitting the same banner here.
Oh, Jesus. You do the banners.
My fingers are here.
Okay.
My fingers are here.
Go ahead. All right. All right. Yeah.
Please reach out to ImpEx. Please look in your state. If your retailer doesn't have single cask nation, ask them to bring it in. Ask them to reach out to their distributor. None of this release, and there are 8 bottles in this retail release, none of them will be at singlecasknation.com. You will have to purchase these from a retailer. Our importer, ImpEx Bev, takes tremendous care of us, gets our bottles across the United States. Please reach out to them if you're looking for a bottle, and definitely ask your retailer.
There you go. Could not have said it better myself, Jason.
There we go.
So thanks everybody for watching the tasting video. I want to say, if you've enjoyed this and any of our other tasting videos or the podcast, One Nation Under Whiskey, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done already. It's very easy. I think all you have to do is click a subscribe button. It's like, watch this. Boom. Done. Just the one finger. Boom. And then you could just do it a second time on the little bell down below, and then you'll be reminded when a new tasting video comes out or when a new podcast comes out or what have you. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends. Tell your loved ones. Write your senators. And
and look for this Ben Nevis 10.
There you go.
Yeah, to close it, Joshua, the last 3 words: chocolate.
Chocolate.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.